Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Happy Half Hour, which is considerably happier than
Always
it's been
happy.
in weeks past, but everybody's still in a good mood. I am constantly amazed as I move through the city of Charlotte, the place I call home, the place I love, how much easier life is when the Carolina Panthers win a couple football games in a row. People let you in traffic. They wave when you let them in. Life is good.
The sky is bluer. The sweet tea is sweeter. Everything is happy and better when you're winning.
The sky is blue in Charlotte, North Carolina always anyway, because we are, after all, the center of the universe. And we appreciate you guys joining us here in the center of the universe, because this episode of the Happy Half Hour is brought to us by our friends at Deep Eddy. Da-da-da. Those guys should have a song or something, because they've got some cool stuff going on.
Let's make that a contest.
Between now and October 26th, you can devise your custom cocktail using Deep Eddy vodka and enter the Sweet Sip sweepstakes. Between now and October 26th, clock's ticking. You got 10 days to get that entry in to win two tickets to the November 9th Saints game, access to the One Carolina Lounge. Matt's throwing stuff at me in the background, but it's okay because it's all right here, baby. Steel Trap. I remember this read like it's the back of my hand.
I was literally just about to say you're doing this without the cue card.
That's right. I don't need cue cards. I don't need notes. We could just
okay, let's not get crazy.
Throw all this right out the window, and everything would just be just fine. What could possibly go wrong? Yeah, a lot of cool stuff going on. So don't forget, get your entry in. Sweet Sip Sweepstakes with our friends at Deep Eddy. We appreciate them sponsoring this fine radio program. I don't know why I called it that, but that's what we're going with for right now. Yeah, busy week.
Yeah.
There's just been all kind of stuff going on. People are winning awards
There's been an
left
award
and
every
right.
day.
People are winning awards left and right. Ryan Fitzmoney is your NFC Special Teams Player of the Week. T-Mac is the Rookie of the Week, sponsored by some person who doesn't sponsor me, so I'm not going to say their name. And Rico Dowdle is also the Ground Player of the Week, sponsored by somebody who doesn't sponsor me, so I'm not going to say their name. So many awards.
And all well-deserved. And it's funny because I was looking at who they were going against for both Rico and T-Mac. Those are fan votes awards as well. Mm-hmm. The NFL decides on the finalists in this fan vote. And I was looking at them, and they were going against guys that also had really, really good weeks, but kind of proves to you how vital what they've been doing has been to their team. And fans appreciate that.
Yeah.
And, I think Rico shared his with Cam Scattaboo because there's always two winners for Aaron Ground.
You just wanted to say Cam Scattaboo because
it's
he's on your
fun
fantasy team.
He is on my fantasy team, and that was a great coaching decision by me. That's why we don't listen to Darin anymore.
At any rate. T-Mac.
The week you told me to bench him, he got 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, when your option is Derrick Henry, I always enjoy a known commodity. Call me crazy.
Risk it to get the biscuit.
Oof.
Yeah. But then T-Mac wins Rookie of the Week today. That was announced this morning.
Two touchdowns after having 0 going into last week. We can finally stop talking about that.
Interestingly enough, he had not played a game yet where I think he had less than 40 yards. I think 40 was the...
You mean fewer than?
Fewer than 40-ish, the family of 40 yards.
He was 48, maybe, somewhere in the 40s.
He was in that range. And then on Sunday...
Averaging about 70 yards a week, which gets you to 1,200 yards for the season.
And then Sunday, I think he had his fewest yards of the season. I want to say 28 total. But it included a 19-yard touchdown and a 4-yard four-yard touchdown.
You get in the box a couple times, we'll forgive the yardage numbers.
I think he would take it too. So that was a cool moment for him, for his family. His entire family was here from Hawaii. His granddad's birthday was on Sunday. He gave him the game. He gave him his first touchdown ball.
Sometimes the universe is talking to you, friends, and you just got to listen.
Is that from a movie?
I don't know. I just made that up. But anyway, all kind of good stuff going on. The Rico Dowdle thing, it has actually been almost a source of amusement to me because people are trying to turn this into some kind of thing. And people are trying to turn this into a fake problem. It's as if fans of the Carolina Panthers, which you all are, of course, if you're watching or listening to the Happy Half Hour, don't remember D'Angelo Williams and Jonathan Stewart, or don't remember Deshaun Foster and Stephen Davis. We've seen this movie before, gang. You need more than one.
Yeah, and it can so easily be done. And I think these are two guys that can do it because again, let's just say it again and again and again. They're both such strong runners, but they do have different running styles. They see different holes. Chuba is so good in the middle of the field. Rico is so good bouncing out. You can use both. Chuba even said yesterday, he was like, dreams, because I asked him, like, you knew when you put 2,000-yard rushers on a roster together, there was a chance this could happen. Mm-hmm. So, like, what is your dream scenario here? And he was like, dream scenario, let's put Trevor out there too and have 3 running backs on the field.
That's right. And I'm perfectly content to go wishbone.
And I've been going back and watching the 2015 games. There was a game earlier in the 2015 season where at one point it was Cam Newton, Jonathan Stewart, Mike Tolbert, and somebody else that was also a running back variety.
Fozzie Whitaker, maybe?
Maybe. And there were, if you count Cam as well, there were essentially 4 rushers in the backfield. And I was like, wow, this is fun. So all that to say, it can be done. You've got, who was the other group you said? The older running back duo? That was the example?
The older ones, Stephen Davis and Deshaun Foster.
Would they have been here under Dom Capers? I'm learning.
This is me putting my head down on the desk because my friend here thinks things that happened in 2003 to 2005 are ancient history. No, they were not here with Dom Capers. They were here with John Fox. They were the running backs for the first Super Bowl team in franchise history. I mean, and the reality is...
Apologies for anybody that's about to get mad at me. I'm trying to learn.
No, it's okay. I mean, the young ones, they sometimes they don't know what they don't know. Right here's the data. And the long way... the easy way to describe what this shows is that a lot of times when you've got 2 running backs, one of them's going to miss a game every now and then. And that's what happened. I mean, Chuba was out with the injury. He's been practicing this week, seems to be better, seems to be excited. I can always tell when Chuba's feeling good because he's bouncing around. He goes and stretches with the defensive guys just so he can taunt them and talk a little trash. But guys miss time. And there were like 5 instances during those big runs of Stephen Davis and Deshaun Foster in a season where one or the other's not available. And that's when you got to lean on the other one. I think, and Rico mentioned this yesterday. He talked about, listen, man, I've had to come out with cramps each of the last 2 weeks. So maybe if there's another running back, that wouldn't be as much of a problem.
And no disrespect to Trevor Etienne, who has handled the job admirably when Rico has come out. But he is still a rookie, and he's had 6 games in his NFL career thus far, and it is a long season. And so if you have if Rico's cramping and Chuba can go in or vice versa, or this is the point Rico was making yesterday, simply splitting the snaps during the game should keep him from cramping up in the fourth quarter because he's got less stress on his legs because he was running a lot. I mean, 234 yards from scrimmage, 239 yards from scrimmage, out there almost every play. Mm-hmm. Blocking, it builds up in your body. You can't help it. And so, or, there's things you can do, but it's a lot on your body. So if you're splitting some of those reps with another guy, I think what's going to be more interesting to me that I want to watch is before Chuba's injury, they were rotating them in that if it was a Chuba drive, he got first and second down, Rico got third. If it was a Rico drive, and then they would trade off drives. And so then Rico would go out for first and second down, Chuba would go out for third, and then they would trade off like that pretty much the whole game. Is that still going to be the rhythm, or is it more Chuba, 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 Rico, Rico, Rico?
Wait, say that again.
Chuba, 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 Rico, Rico, Rico.
I just kind of enjoyed that.
There was like a fan edit I remember last year. One of the local radio stations put it to that old song.
Yeah, I think our friends at WFNZ are responsible for that. Thank you very much, boys. We appreciate that.
All that to say, what does the rotation look like now that you do know what Rico can do a little more within this offense? Does that change even just who goes in when?
It just gives you so many more opportunities. Canales talked yesterday about opening up the whole call sheet when certain things are working. And when you've got the opportunity to run a lot of different stuff with 2 different guys, it just multiplies what you're able to do as an offense. And right now, they're in a spot where they're continuing to build. Obviously, the turnovers a couple weeks ago were a big deal. The way you're running it right now takes some of that pressure off of Bryce Young. It keeps it from being all about what is Bryce Young going to do this week. It just allows everybody to kind of breathe, and that's always been my thing about the run game. When you can do that, when you can shorten games, and Canales said it the other day, when you're getting as many first downs, and they're top 10 in the league in first downs gained, which you wouldn't necessarily think about with the Carolina Panthers offense right now. But when you're getting more plays and more opportunities, it allows you to do more stuff. Mm-hmm. And I just think it creates such a stability. I mean, listen, this is the old man talking again. Everybody understands where I'm coming from. There's 3 things that happens when you pass. How many of them are bad, Cassidy?
2. 2 are bad.
That's right. It can be incomplete or it can be intercepted. And when you're running the ball, I mean, sure, bad things can happen occasionally, but you're controlling the clock. You're leaning on your opponents. You're being more physical and wearing them down. You're giving your defense an opportunity to get a drink of Gatorade. It's just the way to football, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. It doesn't sound cool, and I'm never going to get invited to the Sloan Sports Conference with this kind of take, but if you can run and you can stop the run, you've got a real chance to win football games, and that's been true for about 100 years now.
It hadn't changed. Herm Edwards said the other night on Monday Night Football, and this is not a crazy idea. This has been, again, a tale as old as time when it comes to football, but I love a well-placed quote. He said, the only way you give the other team the football is a kick.
Love it.
A kickoff or a punt. He said that's the only way the other team should ever get the football.
Love that.
And so, yeah, works there. As you said, the best way to win is to run the football and stop the run. That is definitely what this defense has been doing the past few weeks as well. They are top 10. They are 9th overall in rushing defense.
9th in rush D.
Darin, they have done that while facing 3 of the league's top 6 rushers and 4 of the top 12. Oh, and by the way, they're going to be facing 5 of the top 12 after this weekend because Breece Hall is number 11.
Breece Hall is pretty good at this, too.
And by after next week, it will be 4 of the top 6, 6 of the top 12. Because James Cook III is in town.
There are very few things I enjoy more in this job than watching you do math live. It just makes me happy.
You should have seen us. I think I might have said this Monday on the podcast, so apologize if I did. But, Darin goes downstairs early to get ready, and, you should have seen us trying to, seen me doing the math to see if Rico got to 2. Because we knew Christian McCaffrey had the record, first franchise record at 237. How much did Rico need to tie it, to get above it? And it's he got a 9-yard run, and I'm sitting there going okay, did that do it? Now I got to do math.
This is like the Galifianakis meme. It's numbers flying all around the head. Cass is over here doing math on her fingers. It's outstanding. I trust her implicitly as far as she knows, and don't double check her math anytime it comes up. But
I don't tell me that. I hope you do.
Yes, I do. Don't worry.
Okay, good.
But, yeah, it's amazing, and we've talked about this before. I didn't come into this season anticipating this turning into a top 10 defense or this being the 9th-ranked run defense in the NFL just based on what happened last year. But here we are, 50 yards on the ground the last 2 weeks combined. It's just not anything I expected. That defense, however, took a major hit this week when you lose a Pat Jones. Pat finished the game on Sunday. He was in a little bit of discomfort. Some of his teammates said, you could tell he wasn't right, but Pat's a hard guy to get off the field. Nick Scorton said, he's I always tease him about making his life harder than it has to be because he loves adversity. We must have been in plenty because he woke up Monday morning and realized his back was so painful that they got him checked out. Test revealed he needed surgery into the season for Pat Jones. So that creates a new problem for the Carolina Panthers. As you may have noticed, they're not exactly sacking the quarterback at record pace. And now you're without Pat Jones, who had 8 last year with the Vikings. He's a guy who builds so many roles. So now it's on Nick Scorton to grow up a little bit, to take on more of a role. I mean, they anticipated it for Nick when he was drafted in the 2nd round. He's a mature guy himself to be one of the youngest players on the team. And more's going to be expected of him. I mean, you're going to have him, DJ Wanham, and Princely out there for the foreseeable future. Maybe mix a little Boogie Basham in here and there. But there's no real replacing Pat Jones. You just have to kind of hope that those guys can fill in the gaps and create a little pressure around him.
Yeah, and to add as well, like hearts go out to Pat Jones, one of the great ones in the locker room. Such a good guy, always fun to talk to. We had so much fun going out to his grandma's place with him this off season and doing that story, and how important it was for him to play for the Panthers so that he could be back with his family. All that to say, yes, season-ending surgery. What does this mean for the defense as well? Do you start seeing maybe some more exotic blitzes just to kind of fill that? Ajero Evero said today, he kind of admitted, he's like, I don't want to give away the game plan, but it could take 2 guys to replace Pat.
Yeah.
Because even though they weren't necessarily getting to the quarterback in sacks a lot, they were still affecting the quarterback pretty well and pushing the pocket, causing quarterback hurries, erratic throws, things like that. And so they were getting there. And Pat was showing up in the run game as well a lot. And so that's something that Nick does well, is show up in the run game. Princely has been doing it a lot more as well the past couple weeks. He's talked about how watching film, he realized that was definitely something missing from his game, and he's tried to put an emphasis on that. And so I think we see them try to go with a rotation of, keep DJ Wanham out there, let the young guys kind of take the other side. You've got Boogie Basham, Thomas Nkoun,
right,
guys like that. What does it look like? I think that they feel like there's enough there to continue to do what they're doing, but it does hurt. Just
no doubt.
From a production standpoint and from a leadership point of view. Pat had become a really good mentor for, I think he had been paired with Princely, but for both guys. And I think he'll stay around. Like we said, his family's here. His parents live here now. His entire family lives in Charlotte. I don't think Pat will be too far away.
No, I don't think so either. But you know what? I would rather light a candle than curse your darkness. Here, guess who's coming back? Tershawn Wharton, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
He's been on the practice field the last couple of days, after missing 2 games rather. And Turk is a guy who can contribute to that as well. I mean, he had the opportunity to rush a lot from inside last year with the Chiefs. I think he had 8.5 sacks, including the playoffs. And Turk is a guy who's been limited with some injuries, but when he's out there on the field, he's a difference maker. And when I think about what the Panthers have been able to do up front, I mean, A'Shawn Robinson, Bobby Brown, Derek Brown have been doing a job run defense-wise. Turk's a different athlete. I mean, if you look at him, he's kind of short. He's wide. He's got calves about this big around.
Yeah.
He's just got enormous legs, low center of gravity, a lot of power. But he's an explosive player. And so I think as they get him reincorporated into the defense, that's going to help a little bit take some of that slack because you've got a bunch of dudes now who can do a lot of different things. We were talking about Princely a second ago. He's really caught my eye the last couple of weeks learning to play the run and making some plays that affect in the run game because he was effectively drafted as
third down,
as a pass rush specialist. I mean, that's effectively the role that I think they had in mind for him his rookie year. But he's actually jumped in there, made a few plays against the run where it's like, okay, young fella, I feel like Shaq. I was not familiar with your game.
And, that's not anything that you weren't even unfamiliar with because Princely himself said, he was like, I was brought here to be out there on passing downs. And he was like, that's kind of what I did, and that's what they expected me to do. So credit to Princely as well for watching the tape and realizing, he could be doing more than what he was and that he had the capability to do so and decided to put effort into it. Princely, I've covered him since he was 16 years old in recruiting. He is an incredible athlete. It's always going to be what does he does he realize how incredible of an athlete he is? And I think he realized the past few weeks, hey, I can blow up a run, and that's what he's done. So it's been fun to watch.
And they're going to need that moving forward. But lot of moving parts this week. Like I said, Wednesday was a super busy news day. You look up at the front page of Panthers.com at a certain point, it's like, man, all of today's stuff is not fitting on this page. So make sure you're updating that throughout the day because there's always something happening around here. One of the other developments this week, I think we're going to get Jalen Coker back on the field. And so that'll be good news. That'll kind of add a layer to the offense, too. We've talked a lot about the run game and the strides they've made there. But getting Jalen Coker back on the field is big because much in the same way Rico and Chuba can play off of each other, having a Jalen Coker gives you another big body, another explosive athlete and a guy who can play in multiple spots, so you can move him around. It was just one of the shames of the early part of the season. The day after Adam Thielen's traded, Jalen's out there in practice running individual, routes and kind of pulls that quad running route against J.C. Horn. It's like, what, he just felt terrible. You could see it on his face, and it's taken him a couple weeks to get back. Canales has talked about wanting to build up that stamina, because they're going to get in a game at some point where it's going to be a shootout again. They're going to need him to run 50, 60 routes downfield. So they got to make sure that Jalen's right from a physical standpoint. But he said yesterday he feels good, he looks good. He's back wearing his own number in practice instead of a scout team jersey.
He's not having to be George Pickens.
Yeah, he doesn't have to pretend to be George Pickens. He can just be the original Jalen Coker. Yeah. And that's a good thing, because like I said, as last year developed, he really was one of the deep threats on this team and could get the ball downfield. And that's the thing where this offense feeds itself. When you're running the ball, that opens up play action. That opens up shots downfield. It just one works off the other. So getting him back is going to be good news.
One of the, in hindsight, silver linings of Bryce, going to and Andy starting, Bryce going to the bench for a few weeks, is that Bryce started to run some of the scout team stuff and with the twos. And so he got a lot of time with Jalen Coker before Coker kind of really got elevated to the active roster after Adam Thielen's injury. And it wasn't a ton of time, but it was enough time for the two of them to really kind of like, this sounds so cliche because we say it all the time, but like they really developed a chemistry together. If you notice, a lot of times, if you go back and watch some last year, if Bryce went out on a scramble drill, if it wasn't Thielen, it was Coker. And that became his safety blanket. And we saw it even in that preseason game where, when XL had to come out and Coker goes in and Bryce had that scramble drill for the touchdown, it was Coker who pulled that in. Those two just, they figured each other out during that time early last season when they were both running with the twos together. And it's paid dividends on the field. Yep. And so that's exciting to get back to.
Yeah, a lot of exciting stuff. So tune in Sunday, 1 p.m. from, what do they call that place now? Is it still MetLife?
MetLife Stadium.
Still MetLife Stadium. I'll call it the Meadowlands because I'm a million years old. Look forward to getting up there. We'll see our old friend Steve Wilkes, native Charlottean and one of the good ones in this business. We love Steve, so it'll be good to see him. He's got a defense that can be a little salty, create a little problem. Hopefully not too many on Sunday. You're a big New York person. You love going to the city, don't you?
Love going to New York. Anytime I have a chance or the money, I will go. I'll go.
That was Kassidy asking for a raise live during a podcast.
I'm going to put my Venmo QR code right here next week.
No, you are not.
Love the city. It's one of those that like gets in your bones. And so excited. I've been in every season. I've been several times every season, but never the fall. And if there's anything like Nora Ephron movies taught me, is that New York is at its best during the fall. I recall Central Park in fall. So I'm very excited going up a little early.
You didn't know you were getting Wayne Newton on this podcast today, did you?
I never know what I'm getting.
Well, let's go straight from Wayne Newton to Cam Newton. You said you watched that 15 game, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Sunday Night Football against the Philadelphia Eagles. The Panthers were one of three teams that was still 6-0 at that point of the season. Feels like we lost all our undefeated teams really early this season. So to have the 3 6-0 teams at Week 7 was impressive. Sunday Night Football meant they were doing the player intros, and it was so funny. Like when by this point I'm familiar with this Panthers team, but the Eagles team starts introducing themselves, and I'm like, Sam Bradford, like forgot he existed. And then I was like, Riley Cooper, and then I was like, Jordan, and then it was our old friend Jordan Matthews. He was the starting tight end. There were actually a ton. I'm a Florida fan. I lived in Gainesville for 10 years, covered them. There were actually a ton of Florida guys on this Eagles roster for that game. Because in addition to Cooper, there was Trey Burton, Caleb Sturgis, the kicker, and I think a couple others. And it reminded me, because Chip Kelly was the coach of that Eagles team, that Chip Kelly once used Florida as leverage to get the UCLA job, and I will never forgive him for that.
Neither did UCLA.
Exactly. It went bad for everybody. This was a crazy, first quarter because Cam and the offense went right down the field on their first drive, scored a touchdown. It was an impressive touchdown. And then Philadelphia on their next drive gets Jordan Matthews actually popped it up. It was a weird interception. It was like it landed back. Then on the first play of the next drive, Panthers had an even weirder interception where they were already down in the red zone. Cam tries to get, I think it was Ted Ginn, and he went to land on his back and he fumbled the ball. But since he was going on his back, the ball fumbled upwards, and somebody caught it. It was a really weird interception. It took them like 20 minutes to figure it out. It was weird.
Was it defying gravity by any chance?
It was. Oh my gosh, that's what I really need to be singing right now. NBC kept doing these split screens. It was so funny, of either Sam Bradford and Luke Kuechly or Jason Kelce and Luke Kuechly, because they were going. It was kind of like that was the matchup there. And this was a young Jason Kelce, but it was fun to watch that matchup.
Before he became podcaster, Jason Kelce?
Before he became the great podcaster of his time. And Fletcher Cox, of course, showed up in this game as he used to do. Fletcher Cox was my very first interview as a sports reporter. And last year when we were in Philadelphia, I saw him on the field, and I kind of stopped, and I was like, hey, you were my, just kind of joking, was like, you were my very first interview. And he's like, oh, yeah, I remember you. I think he was lying, but it was sweet of him to say so. And then Ted Ginn had an insane catch down the field. And then he had a reverse earlier in that game, too, that went like 50 yards, almost went the whole way. Okay, through the first few weeks, we have seen me grow in an appreciation for Jonathan Stewart. This was the game where I really grew to appreciate Mike Tolbert, and it was a lot of fun to watch him because it was like, hey, what if we give this Mack truck a football and see what happens?
That's right.
And he even had like a 2-yard touchdown where like Cam threw like a little screen out to him, and there were like 4 Eagles players between him and the end zone. And guess what? He got in the end zone. Like, he just drugged them on his way to there and got the touchdown. So there were a lot of turnovers in that game, not all of them the quarterback's faults. And then there was a play, too, where Kuechly jumped over a guy that was trying to tackle him, and he just hurdled him, kept his balance, and then went to tackle the running back for a loss. It was just, and then the very next play, he drops into coverage in the end zone and like it wasn't technically a pass breakup, but like he had the defense that caused it to be an incompletion in the end zone. And I was like, wow, that was quite an experience.
That Luke Kuechly, pretty good at football.
Yeah, somebody should. You heard it here first. And then Jay Stu got 100 yards against a Philly defense that had not given up 100 yards to a rusher in 18 games.
Yeah. So imagine that. Running the ball with multiple people.
Yeah, look at how it worked. 2 different runners, too. Brad Idzik had a great quote today. He said, good things happens when you run the ball well. And
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
So, yeah, and then
there's no better advice than that. And I don't know, maybe we can get Rico to gain 35 or 40 pounds.
Yeah, and become our Mike Tolbert.
Mike Tolbert, fully realize himself. I don't actually want Rico to do that. I want what's best for Rico. So, running the ball is never a terrible idea. When you've got multiple people that can do it, it's even better.
Yeah.
That's what happened in 2015. That's what's hopefully going to happen for your Carolina Panthers this weekend in New York. So that'll take care of us for this episode. We will circle back on Monday, hopefully to tell you about a successful trip to New York. I don't know. Maybe you'll go see Wicked or something. Maybe I'll go.
I've drugged my mom to Wicked on Broadway 3 different times. I think I've reached my limit.
You've reached your limit?
Yeah. I think we're going to go do Lion King this weekend.
There you go. All right. Well, you have fun in New York. I'll be there working. I'm kidding. She'll be working, too. I don't have to worry about this one. So until Monday, we will see you. Thanks to our friends at Deep Eddy. Don't forget, you've got 10 days to enter the Sweet Sip Sweepstakes. Make sure to get those entries in so you can join us here on November 9th for that Saints game in the Deep Eddy Suite. So until Monday, we will see you guys later here on the Happy Half Hour.